Hold on tight. It's time again for the ride of your life at Capital Ford. And the ride of your life begins now with great low payments on a new 2026 Ford Bronco Sport. Buy for as low as $399 a month. Or a new 2026 Ford Maverick. Also buy for as low as $399 a month. And you need to buckle up because Ford employee pricing is now available during our Ride of Your Life event at Capital Ford in Santa Fe.
Everybody, welcome back to the Pit Press Live. Here we are on Tuesday, June 9th. Eric Moulton, owner, co-host of this evening. Happy to be joined by our special guest from UNM men's basketball, 6'7" transfer forward, Rytis Petraitis. Rytis, before we get to you and give you kind of the formal introduction, I want to introduce my co-host for tonight. Also, big contributor to the Pit Press, been with us since the beginning. The voice of the Western New Mexico Mustangs and Lobo fans since 1970. Ed, what's up, man? How you feeling?
Good, Eric. Glad we have our special guest tonight. Had a chance to talk to him briefly at the Rudy Diablo Center last week, and I think he brings a lot of experience, a lot of toughness, a lot of different things, I believe, to the Lobo lineup. So I think Lobo fans will enjoy this.
I do too, man, and we're very lucky to have him. I want to thank Steve, the SID at UNM for giving us the opportunity to interview Rytis. We did have a chance to talk to him briefly at the last open practice, but Rytis, thanks so much for joining us here live on the Pit Press, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Just got done with some homework. I was watching a little hockey, just some good old stuff after practice.
All right, man. Who are you taking in the NBA Finals? I know you watched the game last night.
Yeah, I got the Spurs. Stay in Texas. I love Wemby, watching him play, and I'm a little butthurt from the Knicks taking Jalen Brunson from the Mavericks. So that's a big reason why I'm going for the Spurs.
Yeah, very cool, man. So I'm going to jump right into it. Ed, you and I can go back and forth. I know you want to ask Rytis a bunch of questions, but I'll kind of ask the main one that I want to get answered. I think you played at Air Force. A lot of Lobo fans, Lobo Nation, are very familiar with you, your game, very skilled player. After Air Force, you transferred to Cal, shortened season last year due to injury, but you end up in Albuquerque, one of the latest transfers to land on Coach Eric Owen's staff. But why New Mexico?
To be honest, I chose New Mexico because, I've seen what the fans bring. I've always wanted to play in front of the fan base like New Mexico, having it packed out every game, having it mean something, playing at home, And my dream is to make the tournament, and this is the place to do it. I want to come here and bring championships, and, that's the end goal. And if it doesn't happen, that's going to be not what's expected here, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no. I think Lobo Nation's excited to have you here, but it's a much different fan experience. I think a lot of people are familiar with the Pit, and it does get loud. People are excited, and they're come with high high praise, but also very high expectations. People want to see a winning team on the floor. So last year you played 7 games with Cal. I think you averaged right around 10 points per game, but your season was shortened by injury, man. It's such a bummer. What was that experience like at Cal? And then, I mean, I guess tell me about your injury a little bit more and maybe looking forward to this season kind of having a bounce back year.
Yeah, so I mean, my experience at Cal was great. No regrets. I loved every single part of it. Yeah, the injury part kind of hurt. Playing UCLA, number 18th ranked team in the country, and we were beating them. We did end up beating them, and I kind of like took a drive to the basket. My hip just gave out, you know. Ended up after the game not being able to sleep, not be able to really walk. Saw doctors, and they were really just like, yeah, if you want to play basketball in the future, you should probably get, you know, surgery and just look forward to the next season. And that's kind of what I did, and decided to go to Albuquerque. So,
yeah. Ed,
You know, Rytis, Lobo fans are holding their breath here about that injury. You're saying you're 100%. You're recovered. You're ready to go for next year. People want to know.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I would say 100%, but you know, we're taking it easy. It is June, so we're taking it day by day. But I mean, I'm doing 45-minute workouts individually, you know, running up and down. I mean, the mile, I did it with the team. I did really, really well. So I have no, there's been no lashback from injury. Everything's on pace. Everything's on time. So there's nothing to worry about, in my opinion.
No restrictions as far as you're able to ramp it up, and no restrictions. The trainers have said no restrictions.
I'm still not 100% doing 5-on-5 in practice, mainly because, you know, don't want to come back too early and then, you know, cause injury. Playing 5-on-5 in June, especially. But yeah, I mean, if I had a game tomorrow, I'd definitely be playing or find a way to play. So I'm not worried about it.
Good to know. The season's still, you know, a few months away. So you got time to recover even more. You know, the transfer portal, we were talking about that today on Unfiltered with Kenny Thomas. It's changed college basketball dramatically. What was your experience navigating the process, and what factors mattered most when making your decision to come here or even go to Cal? What factors navigated your decision making?
Honestly, the transfer portal is a crazy experience. I mean, you can't really explain how it feels. As soon as you enter and coaches see it, it's nonstop phone calls, text. It gets kind of overwhelming. And you just got to be straight up. It's a really quick process. You just got to say, hey, I want to go here, or hey, or I'm interested in going here, or hey, I'm not interested at all. And just, you know, don't waste anyone's time. But coming out of Cal and looking for my 5th-year option, I decided to come here mainly. I mean, coach has a great system. I think it's a great system for me. It's very similar to, I wouldn't say exactly similar, of course, but like when I ran out Air Force, lots of passing, lots of movement, lots of movement of the ball defensively, lots of running up and down, taking care of the ball. So that's the kind of stuff I was looking for in the portal. And, you know, this opportunity came up, and I couldn't pass it down.
It sounds like a system that Coach Eric Olin has here that you should thrive in, no doubt about it. Because you're the kind of player, and Coach Olin picks players along with his staff that fit into a certain system. You mentioned that the other day about, you know, selecting a big. He's not going to select or recruit a big just to recruit a big. They've got to fit in the system. So I think the talents that you mentioned certainly fit here at the University of New Mexico. You know, you had a productive career at Air Force. What lessons from your time there have helped shape you both as a player and a person?
As a person, I'll say I make my bed every morning, which helps. But other than that, yeah, it definitely gave me perspective of serving in the military, respecting the people that are out fighting for us and giving for this country. Gave me that kind of respect. And then basketball-wise, it taught me discipline. It taught me how to pass the ball really well, because that Princeton offense, you need to learn how to pass or you're not going to be able to play. and also how to be mentally tough, going through all the military stuff. Um, and on top of academics, being a top public school, just going through all those experiences and on top of basketball and going to play at the Pit or going to San Diego State. It's hard. It's not easy. It's not for everyone, but it definitely changed me as a person in the better ways. I will say that.
Yeah. Rytis, talk to me about maybe your relationship and the coaching style that Joe Scott had at Air Force. We had a chance to talk to him. We had actually had a chance to talk with you at the Mountain West Media Days 2 seasons ago, and he was one of the most interesting interviews. He was very upbeat, but very interesting. I think he's from like upstate New York, or he's from the East Coast somewhere. But describe what it was like playing for him, because yeah, kind of installing that Princeton offense, constant movement. Describe what that was like.
Yeah, it was an experience. Long practices, because installing the Princeton offense, you have to. If someone takes one dribble or two dribbles, that's a different movement in the offense. So it's lots of repetition, lots of moving and running, and you're really in shape. I mean, running nonstop up there, running that offense. So, but I mean, him as a coach, he's a good coach. He's definitely not a typical type of coach. He's very intense, very expects perfection, which is, I think, brought the best out of me and kind of reflects the Air Force motto. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it was great, and I think it's gonna translate really well to this offense with a little more freedom and ability to be myself more and make the players around me even better.
Right on, man. You spent last season at Cal, didn't get a ton of floor experience because of your injury, but the time that you did get on there, what you were able to kind of see up front, Cal had made the jump to the ACC. Pretty different leagues in terms of athleticism, talented players compared to the Mountain West. You had some, I guess, some taste of flavor with the Mountain West your first 2 seasons at Air Force. But I mean, what were some of the, if you were to compare the two conferences, what are some of the similarities and maybe some of the bigger differences in the ACC and the Mountain West?
Yeah, well, the thing I'm going to say at first is my sophomore year at Air Force was the year that we had 6 bids in the Mountain West. Compared when I went to Cal that next year, we only had 4 that made the tournament. So I think I was a part of probably the best Mountain West conference in a long, long time. And so, yeah, it was a big jump in speed and agility. And, everyone's good at basketball. I mean, both leagues, but I think the Mountain West is more defensive minded, while the ACC is more offensive minded, which I think I'm more of a defensive player that translates into offense rather than an offensive player and then getting back on defense and seeing what happens. Yeah, I think the Mountain West is a more physical league for sure. It's definitely it was definitely a big jump. I won't lie though, because you have to play Duke. I had to guard Cooper Flag. That was an experience in Cameron Indoor. I had to try to block Caleb Wilson's shot. Like just a bunch of experiences like that. But I will say, Albert, playing in the Pit and playing at San Diego State and playing Utah State were probably more. I had better experiences with crowds, and it was a lot harder to play than a lot of ACC venues, in my opinion.
That's awesome to hear. I think a lot of Mountain West fans are probably excited to hear something like that, because there's a lot of pride in the rivalries. And obviously, I think a lot of people are bummed out that the Mountain West kind of disintegrated after last season.
Yeah.
But talking with Steve, the SID at UNM, a little bit today, just kind of prepping for this interview, he dropped me a little tidbit. He let me know that you have some youth basketball ties to a former Lobo, a popular former Lobo, and CJ Noland. Mm-hmm. I guess you guys had played youth basketball together or club basketball together since like 9 or 10 years old.
Yep.
Tell me about that.
He, I don't know how it happened. I mean, I was really young when we went on the team together. But ever since I remember playing AAU, we were teammates. We were boys. I mean, we are still boys. But every single year we played basketball except probably 17U when I went and played for Texas Impact instead of Pro Skills. But he's as Lobo fans know him, he's respectful, great basketball player. He's fan favorite. I mean, he was elite basketball, and he was actually a great football player. He had a Baylor offer when he was in 8th grade to go to football, but he chose basketball instead of that. And we've had some crazy experiences on the court, and we're going to be friends for life for sure. And just having this experience, and I heard he's going to be a part of the Albuquerque team for TBT, if that's
the enchantment that was announced today or maybe yesterday. Yeah.
So I sent him a little text to congratulate him, and we'll be seeing each other very soon.
Very cool. Ed,
kind of funny. Kenny Thomas, the former Lobo, was the head coach of Enchantment, and we had a chance to talk about the roster a little bit today. And you mentioned CJ Nolan. He had some real good moments here as a Lobo. He really did. Came off the bench and delivered some pop, hit some threes. And you mentioned that strong body of his. There's a comment there by one of our great listeners there. Rytis would be the hardest worker on the floor. Amazing motor, great passer, shooter, rebounder, ball handler. Defense on and off the ball is high level. He's a playmaker too. And all that, no pressure here, Rytis, man. I mean, these Lobo fans. I was talking to Coach Howell. We had him on. I had him on Unfiltered last week. Then we had Coach Waterman on and Coach Tankowicz, and we got to go down the line and get the assistants on. All of them, every single one of them, they put in the work along with Coach Olin. But we mentioned that life's a fishbowl around here, man. If you're a Lobo, and there's some great shots of you there at practice, and you'll see once you maybe you already have once you're around town and walking someplace and people come up to you and want your autograph. Lobo basketball, I know I've said this a million times, is the king here, and no disrespect to Jason Eck and the football program. He's done a great job. But Lobo basketball is the king and will always be the king. So when you're around walking outside and people are like, oh, Rytis, you'll see. Maybe you already have.
On my visit, when I landed to go to the airport in Albuquerque, as soon as I landed, I got on the little escalator to go see Coach. Someone already pointed me out. They were like, is that Rytis? I mean, they didn't say my name right, but it was definitely like an experience. They're like, we didn't really like you, but you should come here. I was like, yep, that makes sense.
And there'll be plenty more moments like that because when you play for the Lobos around here, I got to ask you this. You mentioned the Princeton offense. You mentioned Coach Scott, who you mentioned was very intense, and we read a lot about Coach Scott. And I think Coach Olin's intense. Coach Olin, an analytical mind like we've never seen here. He believes games are won and lost by certain actions, according to what Coach Tank said. And we've heard Coach Olin say that, and Coach Waterman. So what are you most excited about playing for Coach Olin and this coaching staff this season?
I mean, the offense itself, and on top of that, how, like you said, analytical he is. I feel like if you look at my box score every single game, you won't be like, oh my gosh, he made a big difference. But if you watch the game, there's going to be a big difference from what you think if you look at the box score. I'm going to be the one diving on the floor. I'm going to be the one bringing energy, scoring, passing, rebounding, like everything, every single part. And that's the stuff that Coach sees that a lot of other people don't see. And hopefully we know we're going to use that to our strengths and show Lobo Nation that it's not just about the box score. It's about other things of the little things and offensive rebounds, which I'm trying to be more proficient at, which I already am. And on top of, trying to improve my 3-point shooting, trying to improve my playmaking, and that's something he's pushing me on, and that's something he was telling me that we will work on to make myself better for the next level. whether it's, Europe or wherever I go. So yeah, those were the kind of things that I was excited to hear from.
Coach Roberts mentioned the winning plays that
Mhm.
I saw that TikTok more than once, and you talked about it. 50-50 loose balls. You're going to get those. Draw the charges.
Yep.
You're going to attack space. Coach Roberts said.
Mhm.
There's a lot of things Coach Roberts said that I'm like, man, we got a player that's going to really fit in here very, very well. I've got to ask you this: you've been around. This is your fifth year now playing college basketball.
Fifth year.
What is we've got Chris Howell back, Uriah Tenet, Jake Hall, some veterans back. But what is your experience? Do you think mean to the rest of the guys, new guys coming in? How can your experience help them?
I think I can bring more maturity, just like with Chris Howell. He's can do this exact same thing. Just playing basketball for that long and experiencing it at a college level. You can't buy veteranism, if that makes sense. I don't know if I said that right, but I'm a math guy, not an English guy. Yeah, so like having Jake Hall back, having Uriah back, having Chris back, it's a big deal, especially when the new guys come in and don't really know the system, don't know how practice goes. But all three of them did a great job introducing us to the style, how practice is going to go. Like even Chris today, he just brought it in. He's like, hey, this is a morning practice, and sometimes mornings aren't the best because we're still asleep, but we have to make the most of it and bring the energy. And just like the little stuff like that. And I'm hoping to bring that type of situations when it comes to game time, being on the court, understanding when there's a 2-for-1 or even a 3-for-2, noticing, little things that a lot of younger players wouldn't notice. And I think that's what is a valuable thing that I bring to the team.
Situational awareness, so many things that you've been through as a player. You're going to bring so much to this roster. I know, Coach Olin, I got one more question. I'll turn it back to Eric. But this question here, every college basketball fan has heard stories about the Pit. What was your reaction the first time you experienced it, and how excited are you to play in that environment as a Lobo?
First time I experienced it, oh man, it was a surprise. Nothing what I expected. I remember we landed at Albuquerque. I was at Air Force, obviously, pulling up with the bus, and I saw a snake. And I was like, what's going on, He was like chirping at us, and I was like, okay. And then we walk down the little ramp, and I just see thousands and thousands of fans, like lights, the pregame show, all the lights off, the flashlights. I was in awe, amazed. We ended up losing that game. But then the next time I came, I was more prepared.
Man.
We won't go any more into that story.
Were you? Yeah. Go ahead, E.
Yeah. Expectations for this year, obviously you've been around the guys for a little bit. It's almost a completely brand new team. Ed talked about some of the returners, some of the veteran guys. But looking at what's coming in now, you've had enough time to spend with them. When you look at the roster and kind of the program and the style of play that Eric Olin has put together, what are your expectations for the season, and how far do you think you guys can go?
Championship. That's the expectation. You can say you shoot for a championship, but our expectation is winning a championship, both regular season and Mountain West tournament, and then going on and winning as much as we can in March Madness. That's something I haven't experienced, and that's my dream of experience. And like I said earlier, part of the reason why I came here. But yeah, that's what we're expecting, and every single guy in the locker room agrees. It's championship or bust for us.
I'm gonna go to a question for you, Rytis. Someone chimed in on one of our comments. I know you mentioned that probably one of the tougher players, best players you've ever had to guard was Cooper Flagg, that's a tough matchup, man. He's one of the best players in the NBA. But who was the toughest Lobo that you played against in your years at Air Force?
Oh man, I would probably have to say, Our Mashburn was really tough. Yeah, I'd probably have to say Mashburn. I remember when I was playing at the Pit and even at Air Force, they'd always switch him on me because he had the like deadliest pull up. Like I could not guard his pull up jumper, and it would go in every single time. Yeah, or even Jalen House. Now that I think about it, just his defense and his fire, his energy, his ability to shoot the three. I think those two, I would go for a tie right there. Those two people.
Very cool.
Yeah.
One more Lobo based question. Just, I don't know how much you paid attention last year, or how much maybe game film you've been able to watch of last year's roster here at New Mexico. But the name Jake Hall, I think he kind of emerged onto the scene as one of the best freshmen around the country, maybe one of the best shooters around the country. And what's your impression been of him? And I mean, you guys playing together, how much does that excite you?
I'm super excited. Just being able to be around a shooter like him, who has already succeeded in this league, and an unbelievable, you say best shooter, I think he is the best shooter in the country. Just his ability to have, I don't know, like I was surprised when I saw him in practice, but like when he catches the ball like up here and just shoots it right away. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
We have.
I was in amazement, and it just swished like nothing happened. Yeah, I was in awe when I saw that. So he's going to be even better than last year. He's definitely putting the work, putting the time, and I'm excited to play with him for sure.
Oh, very cool, man. Last question for me, and then I'll hand it back to Ed. But this one's more of a kind of a long-term vision question for you. In terms of maybe it is basketball, maybe it's not basketball, but long-term aspirations. I know that you got your undergrad, you finished at Cal,
Yep.
An engineering degree. That's pretty impressive stuff, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And now you're pursuing your MBA at UNM, to tie those two together. I mean, what are your long-term career goals, and what are you looking to do? Maybe either carry basketball forward or maybe something outside of basketball.
Yeah. Well, my goal is to play basketball for as long as I can, at the highest level. And I know basketball stops at some point. So I really cared about school. I got that engineering degree because I wanted to be at the top of the top and push myself. And when I came to UNM and they're like, we have a MBA program, I was like, I have to go for it. So my aspirations are either being an engineer for a company like NVIDIA or, Amazon, like all the big time companies who are looking for engineers to improve products, or even creating my own company and being an innovator and teaming up with some people that I know from Cal, that we've talked about. And there's some great ideas out there. And I think that there are some ideas that can bring in basketball, which would be the best case scenario, having a basketball innovation and, being creator of a company like that.
Very cool. Ed, any final questions, thoughts?
Got just a few more. Rytis, what have your early impressions been of Albuquerque and of New Mexico, and what are you most looking forward to experiencing in the community of Albuquerque?
Love the food. I think the food is amazing. I've gotten to experience several places, and I love to experience more. So if there's any recommendations, I'd love to experience that. But like you said, the recognition of basketball here is something that I'm looking forward to experiencing. Just meaning so much to this city and being able to bring joy and happiness. I mean, we're doing kids camp this week, and just like the little stuff like that. Like I love doing that. I love putting smile on kids' faces, because believe it or not, we're role models to them and they look up to us, and like that little type of stuff. So I think that's what I'm looking forward to.
Well, just one more for me. And Mexico fans are known for being some of the most, as you already know, passionate in the country. What's your message to Lobo Nation as you prepare to wear the cherry and silver, man? You're a Lobo now. What's your message?
I would say the message is it's championship or bust for us. I came here to help this team win, and I think it's time for me to do something that I did to y'all wearing cherry and silver. If I'm being honest. So
No, we still remember, man. I watched that play like 10 times. And it was perfectly executed. It was perfectly ran, and JT Toppin was just laid out, getting out on you, and you knocked it down, man, and took the air out of the pit, took us probably out of an NCAA tournament bid. I remember I was not even in town, and I remember asking Eric and my son, what happened, man? Because we don't lose to Air Force usually, but you had a great. That's why I think a lot of Lobo fans are looking forward to having you wear the cherries in silver rather than Air Force or somebody else.
Yeah,
we want you to do that for the Lobos.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people don't remember, but I mean they do remember. But I think y'all went on the craziest run after that game and ended up making the tournament. So I kind of give myself credit for waking you guys up. Maybe possible. I don't know. But yeah, I'm excited to do that for Lobo Nation. And like I said, bring a championship here.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that.
Yep.
Very cool, Rytis. We want to thank you for spending your evening with us for 30 minutes. We want to thank Steve for getting you on as well. Rytis Petraitis. Good luck this season, man. I'm sure we'll see you around next few open practices. I know Ed likes to spend as much time at the gym as he can. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll let Rytis go. Ed and I will be back. You're tuning in to the Pit Press Live.
Thanks, Rytis. Thank you.
Hold on tight. It's time again for the ride of your life at Capital Ford. And the ride of your life begins now with great low payments on a new 2026 Ford Bronco Sport. Buy for as low as $399 a month. Or a new 2026 Ford Maverick. Also buy for as low as $399 a month. And you need to buckle up because Ford employee pricing is now available during our Ride of Your Life event at Capital Ford in Santa Fe.
Hey, welcome back to the Pit Press Live. Give me 1 second. Let me get the screen fixed here. There we go. Ed, I'd have to admit, man, that's got to be one of my most enjoyable interviews that I've had with a Lobo player in a long time. Very well spoken. I know you had a chance to talk to him for, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes at Lobo Open practice last week. Had a chance to see the team for the first time. Kind of just going through some light drills. But what did you think of Rytis?
I think he's everything that I think the Air Force discipline obviously helped him as a person. He said he makes his bed. A lot of people don't do that anymore. They don't. So that's part of it. But I just got to say that when I talked to him, I saw him. I'm like, hey man, everybody had their name tag by their person, right? And I was like, hey, we're so happy to have you here. And everything was yes or no, sir. And I mentioned what Coach Roberts had said: winning plays. He's going to attack space. He's going to get the 50-50 loose balls. I said, I think everybody here is excited you're here to be a Lobo. And just the answers he gave you, very respectful, looked you in the eye the whole time. So I thought the interview we had with him tonight was again, if you think about it, Eric, all the recruits they've signed some very good recruits. The kid from St. John's, Suleiman, I can't remember his name, Erman. So Solanovic, I can't remember. Yeah. He's another one. I saw him the other night, and I think Van Tate had a thing on him. He's good. They've signed some bigs that are I think are going to be Pierre Jerome. He's going to be. We talked to him a little bit, but I got to say that of all the players they signed, I might be more excited about Rytis Petraitis just because of the things that Coach Roberts and the staff obviously saw. He's a winning basketball player, Eric. He'll do whatever it takes. He mentioned it doesn't matter about the box score. He just wants to win. He wants to win championships, and he can produce. I think the other thing is the rebounding. How does he help the New Mexico on the boards? And he's going to hustle. He's going to get the rebounds. He mentioned he's working on offensive rebounding more. He's a player that if you say, I need you to work on this today, he'll do it. There's no I in team. And I think the guy that we met tonight, certainly I think everybody that listen has to be excited when you hear a player like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw this comparison out to you, but I mean the guy that he made a comment about not filling up the stat sheet, but you're gonna feel his impact. You're gonna feel him on the floor. He's gonna make a difference in the game. And I mean, who was that guy last year? That was Luke Hopt. Luke Hopt never really blew it away. I think he had one game at 30 points, but
he did.
Everything else was well rounded. It was like 5 rebounds, 5 assists, nothing that ever blew you away. But I think Rytis has way more upside offensively, has the length, can create in space. I think Luke Hopt was a little limited. He could back guys down, was a strong finisher around the rim. But Rytis can extend the defense, knock down shots from the outside. He mentioned kind of being more of a spot shooter on the 3-point line because of the offense that they're in, the design of being able to create space, open a lot of ball movement. So it's exciting. I know that they loaded up on a bunch of shooters this year. You kind of mix that in with some of the speed that you're going to get with Tenet, things like that, and then you have J. Cole on the floor. There's going to be a lot more weapons offensively in this roster than I think they had last year. But exciting, and again, I really think he's a well-spoken dude. And to go after your MBA, have an engineering degree, I think that it says a lot about the type of person he is too. He's sharp, smart, looking forward to his future.
He's very intelligent guy. You're right.
I do want to transition though, Ed. I want to make an announcement to the people tuning in now that if they didn't get a chance to watch on Sunday, but Ed, I'm going to give a lot of credit to you here, man. You were able to talk to former UNM women's basketball coach Yvonne Sanchez, put together some programming to really highlight UNM women's basketball. We have a Lobo women's basketball legend series now dedicated to just covering the legends of women's basketball past, and we had a hell of a show kickoff on Sunday. Coach Yvonne Sanchez was able to get former Lobos Mandy Moore and Abby Letts to come on, kind of tell their stories of how they got recruited to UNM, kind of growing up within that UNM program, and just kind of stories. Ed, what did you think about the interviews with those two? And I mean, I think Coach Sanchez has already got some interviews lined up for. I think she wanted to come back on the 21st.
I think the best thing about it to me, and Eric, you and I talked about this, and I told Coach Sanchez this. We don't need, you co-hosted, and that was good. But we're trying to have a series where it's females. It's female driven, and because women's basketball, Coach Sanchez was an assistant there, then the head coach. So I think this is what I think, and when I thought she deserved another year, and Paul Krebs let her go. I thought she deserved another year. So she went off to, be an assistant at Arizona State. I don't know that she got the goodbye that, to bridge that gap, to say, hey, we appreciate you here. We thought you did a great job. So now that, Krebs is gone, Coach Bradbury did a great job. Yvonne has said that over and over. Now she can come back and bridge that. Coach Egan had them all on a Zoom call about a month ago. Coach Sanchez said that she wants to bring the alumni back. Coach Egan tuned in on Sunday. Coach Egan said she'd come on anytime. And that's a conversation between her and Coach Sanchez, the past to the present, right? Past to the present. They can talk about, strategy, whatever it is they're going to. So I think for me, Eric, there's a comment by Steve Singletary. I got to say, Steve Singletary, the interview hosted by Yvonne was great. I'm looking forward to continue. Steve is one of our faithful listeners, as is John Romero. We've got Eric Markham. I got to say that about Eric Markham and his dad, Bruce. They actually watch fundamentals of players, and they scout them probably better than anybody I've seen, man, or heard about. They do their work. But Eric, I'm very proud. You know what? I started with you when we first started this. We've got our son. I'm sorry, my son. Mark Smith will return. He's still recovering from a health issue. Greg Archuleta, Jeffrey Gordon. We've got a great team and a deep bench. So I think, starting a women's series, Lobo Legends, there's a lot of Lobo women fans here. And I think striking while the iron's hot, while Coach Egan has just come in and Coach Sanchez from the past to bridge that gap, I think the excitement for Lobo women's basketball is going to be very high. And Coach Egan is willing to participate in our endeavors. Said she'd come on, and that will be with Coach Sanchez when we get that going. But I'm excited. I didn't mean to go on and on about it, but we've been talking about it for a couple of years, and I'm glad we finally got it going.
Yeah, we'll get Coach Egan on soon, probably sooner rather than later. We just need to make the right connections there. But here's a quick highlight from Coach Yvonne Sanchez's show with Lobo Women's Legends. We did have a chance on that show, Ed, to talk about the run they made. I don't remember exactly what year it was. It's kind of skipping my mind right now, and they made the Sweet 16. And on that conversation, Mandy Moore and Yvonne Sanchez were just talking like if they would have gotten past, I think it was Texas in that Sweet 16 game. If they would have gotten past them, they were for sure they were on a roll. Super confident. They were we were going to the Final Four. There was no stopping us. And I mean, that's something that the UNM men's basketball program can't hang their hat on. They haven't been to a Sweet 16, and they talked about getting the program back to those days and hosting the NCAA round, the first round tournament at the Pit, 16,000 deep when they hosted Florida. So this is, it seems so long ago, but not so long ago. I just hope the UNM's women's program can get back onto that level. But yeah, exciting stuff. I hope Coach Yvonne Sanchez is watching this now because I'm really excited to have her be a big part of this because she's so well known, not just in Albuquerque and New Mexico basketball. Her brother, El Dorado high school basketball coach, he just coached the McDonald's All-American game in Chicago. So strong basketball family. Ed, I know you got a lot of strong ties to that family as well, but I'm glad she decided to partner up with this and put together this exclusive series, and I'm excited to watch it unfold and be a part of some of the interviews.
You know what, Eric? I got to give you credit. Great introduction. You changed you created a new intro for Coach Sanchez, and that needed to be done. Great job on the graphics. You do a great job on our production. And again, I'm very proud of where we've come and where we're going. So that's a new series, Lobo Women's Legends. We're going to have some men's legends on. Vladimir McCrary's reached out to us. Hopefully we can get David Gibson on. Rob Leffel. We're trying to get some Lobo legends from the past. Ike Williams, Hari Jackson has said that Ike Williams is going to reach out to us. So there's going to be Lobo, and we don't want to forget football. The football's right around the corner. So the people at UNM, Frank and Steve, have been very cooperative with us. So there's so many things going on with the Pit Press, and sometimes I can't keep track. And Eric, you still work and you got kids. My son works, has kids. Jeffrey works. I know Mark is retired, and Greg Archuleta is working still, and they contribute everything they can while they can. So I just want to tell you, thanks for everything you do, man, because without the behind the scenes stuff, the production is awesome. And I know I appreciate it. The notes, the banners, and everything you do is very much appreciated and makes our show what it is. It really does.
Thanks, Ed. Yeah, I have a blast doing this, man. It's a good time, and we get, I wouldn't say special access, but access that we wouldn't have without it. So I don't have any final thoughts. I thought it was a good show. Again, thanks to Steve for getting us Rytis Petraitis, and we'll probably try to effort another Lobo here in the next couple of weeks and like you said, Ed, focus more on women's basketball, and we'll start really diving into UNM football as well too. So any final thoughts before we sign out?
No, Eric, again, great job in getting Rytis. I think of all the guys they signed some really important, getting Jake to stay was huge, but I think getting him might be second, man. I don't know. That guy is such a very heady, smart player with high IQ, and he's a winner. He's a winner, man. He wants to win. So I think it was a great interview, and looking forward to having more Lobos on this summer.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, everyone have a good night. Thanks for tuning in. And if you don't already, please subscribe to our channel. Like the episodes, link up with us on social media, Twitter, Facebook. Send us some messages. We enjoy a good conversation. And thanks again for tuning in. Everyone have a good night. We'll talk to you soon.